All right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this month's Breakfast Networking meeting. My name is Kyle Burgess. I'm the board chair with the Newmarket Chamber of Commerce and also a senior employment lawyer with Minkin Employment Lawyers. As always, I want to begin our meeting in a good way by acknowledging the land that we live and work on. This is an important step on our path of truth and towards reconciliation, which is the work of all Canadians. I want to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territories of the Wendat and the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe peoples, whose presence here continues to this day. We also would like to acknowledge this is the unceded treaty lands of the First Nations of the Williams Treaty and thank the signatory nations respectively for sharing these lands with us. We would also like to acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation as our closest First Nation community. I would also like to acknowledge that we have one board member with us here today that at least I'm aware of, unless someone else sneaks in, and we also have some dignitaries in attendance. Our very own vice chair with the Chamber of Commerce, Shauna Fardy with Sun Life Financial, Councillor Bob Quappies from the town of Newmarket, Tony Van Bynen, our MP for Newmarket Aurora, and Councillor Victor Woodhouse with Woodhouse Insurance. We'd also like to announce the Newmarket Chamber has welcomed 11 new businesses to the Chamber membership, which is an outstanding, fantastic number to hear, 11 new members, so welcome. And moving right along, just being cognizant of time, I want to pass the virtual microphone over to our President CEO, Chris Emanuel, who's going to join in here and provide all of us with the Chamber update. Morning, Chris.
Morning, and thank you, Kyle. Welcome, everyone. I know that we had just over 30 registered today, so I'm sure some will trickle in. But what we thought would be helpful today is it's been a little while, and there's been so much changing and going on that it'd be helpful to give a bit of an overview on what's happening at the Chamber. As the things are starting to open up. The board's been very diligent in making sure that we're driving things forward again, and as well as the staff here at the Chamber. So I thought we'd give a bit of an update on what's happening, and then we can get into the networking sessions that I think everyone enjoys. And as I think there was some people really appreciated the last couple where we've done prompting questions, and so Tyler will prompt us with a question each time we go into a breakout. So we'll skip to the next slide, and it's really just talking about what I'm going to focus a bit on the in-person events and networking opportunities. We know that's why many of you join the Chamber. It's why you're here. It's to really expand your connections, and really, I mean, that's one of the most valuable assets of the Chamber, is to provide those opportunities. And then we're going to talk a bit about how we're advocating for support kind of post-pandemic recovery. So we'll start with some of the funner stuff and talk about events. And on the next slide here, we'll see that we're right in the throes of the nomination period for the Business Excellence Awards. And we're kind of shaking it up a bit this year with some new categories, and we've replaced some. But this is we really want to find a way to recognize some of the important things that we need to call out as a community. So I've got a bit of an ask for this group. We've got nominations close in just under a week next Monday, April 18th. And we want to do our best to make sure we're spreading that as far as possible. And businesses don't need to be a Chamber member to be nominated. They just need to either be a Chamber member or located in Newmarket. But I want to speak to a couple of these new categories, because I guarantee someone, or maybe it's your own business, that exemplifies some of these things. So, we have some of our existing categories like new business, small business of the year, large business, not-for-profit, and professional services, and all still critical categories. And I know that we've got some amazing businesses that fit that those kind of criteria. But we want to, so one of the new categories is business resilience. We know that the last 2 years has been a real challenge for businesses, but some of you and of businesses have really done something different. You've pivoted, you've changed your strategy, and you're emerging from COVID, stronger, or you've even just survived, whereas you might have had the deck really stacked against you because of shutdowns or things of that nature. And so we really want to call out businesses that have worked so hard during COVID and to demonstrate resilience. So if you can think of businesses that um, fit that category, please, I'd encourage you to nominate. You can nominate more than one business, and I believe the link was shared in the chat to nominate. As well, we previously had an innovation award, but we've created an innovative startup award. And these are businesses that they don't have to have been around for 3 years. We recognize that the life of the startup, it moves so quickly. Really the key here on innovative startup is that they're doing something interesting, different. They're a new business. They're a bit more than a concept. They've actually taken something to market business. And I'm going to talk a bit about Accelerate Newmarket in a bit. There's a lot of businesses that have gone through Accelerate Newmarket that are perfect candidates for this. But do you know a startup that really needs to be called out? Because previously our awards for a new business would have required them to be around for 3 years. And this is a great time to call out, someone that's really in the early stages of business. And we know how important it is for many of you in your own business know that those early days are so critical. And especially getting that recognition early can be such a momentum builder. So one other thing we want to call out is impact in marketing and promotion. And we're looking to identify businesses that have done something different, unique, where they've moved the needle on their business because they, whether it's a marketing campaign, a strategy, we need to all be learning best practices and sharing best practices and calling it out when we see it. And I can think of a handful of businesses that I know, for instance, use Instagram really well, or so different social media channels where they've created promotions. And here, what's key is, is really connecting those activities with how they've maybe moved the needle for their business. And so we really want to celebrate that as a chamber. New this year is also business leader. So previously we've had Entrepreneur of the Year, and it's an important award, and that someone as an entrepreneur could still be nominated here. But we want to throw that net a bit wider. We recognize that in many of your businesses, it's not even the owner or the entrepreneur. Sometimes you've got it's your head of sales, it's your head of marketing that are doing something innovative. Maybe it's an employee that's just demonstrating incredible leadership. People that would be recognized by their peers as leaders. So we've kind of widened the criteria for who could be nominated for this. But I think this is a great way to recognize someone that may not necessarily be the founder of a company. Of course, that person would still qualify, but a leader in your organization that really deserves shout out. And we could celebrate their successes. And finally, of the new awards, we want to recognize companies that have demonstrated leadership in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is going to be something that you'll see. I know the board is very focused on this. We're looking at bringing in a facilitator to help drive how we engage on this front. But are there organizations that really are setting the standard that exemplify what excellence looks like: diversity, equity, and inclusion? And again, these are organizations we need to be celebrating because this is so critical to our changing demographic. And we also know that, for instance, in the pandemic, that it disproportionately affected women. So organizations that are doing a lot to really support women, for instance, in the workplace and creating those opportunities. I think it's just so important that we do more here. And again, we've got amazing businesses in our community, and let's do more to celebrate that. So those are a bit of a snapshot of our new awards. My challenge to this group, because I know you're all eager and super engaged, it's why you're here. If you can nominate one or two businesses or organizations that are individuals that fit one of these categories, it would be greatly appreciated. We really want to have a wide roster of candidates for the Business Excellence Awards this year. So you've got 1 week to do that. So a bit of homework over Easter weekend, but hoping you can all find the time for that. Moving on to the next slide. Another event that we had in the fall, it kind of shifted to the pandemic, but it's now back to the spring where it was previously, is our annual Mayor's Luncheon. Tickets are selling fast for this. So if you haven't bought a ticket, I think there's only about 20 or so left. But Our annual mayor's luncheon is always well attended, and the mayor is focusing this year on partnerships in our community. And I think we'll have a roster of examples and of whether it's businesses that are collaborating, government and business. There's just such a range of things. So if you're able to attend this event, it's at the Old Town Hall. It's going to be a fantastic event. And again, tickets are selling fast for that. Moving on to the next slide. We know that many of you are just itching to get out and see people again and connect in person. And Jennifer on our team is here, really is driving this. And I, because she hears from you and talks to all of you as members, and having an after hours meet and mingle, mix and mingle, if you will, it's a free event. And partly we're able to do it for free is because we've got great support from local companies. And I want to give them a shout out to My Tasting Kit. It's a fairly new chamber member the last year, Market Brewing, Trevino Wines, Red Thread Brewing, and Old Flame Brewing. So it's at Madison's Greenhouse. They were previously called Madson's. So they've got a new owner now, and they're Madison's. But they're also providing food. So there'll be food, there'll be drink, but there'll just be people. And we'll be able to see each other. And the nice thing is it's a nice big space. They really want to showcase some of the changes they're making there. And, be lots of opportunity to distance as well, a level of comfort. So that is a free event, but we really would like a great crowd out for that. So if you're able to make it, again, this just demonstrates our movement towards having more in-person events. Let's skip ahead. Next slide. So our annual home show kind of had to pivot a bit this year too. So we didn't know what was happening with COVID, in January, February, when we were trying to make decisions. And normally the home show would be much earlier. So it's a bit of a challenge. We look at the calendar and you contemplate, holidays and when our neighbors to the south, we're having Aurora having their home show and Toronto home show. And so we really found that slot in our calendar in May. So it's a bit later than normal. But what we've done is to pivot a bit is we're really leaning into the fact that people really want to support local business. So our home show will be on a Saturday, Sunday, May 14th and 15th. It's at Ray Twinney Recreation Complex. It's a free event to attend. Tyler will correct me, but I think we've got only about 8 or so booths left. So if you do want some space, and there we go. So if you want to be in the home show, that will probably sell out in the next few days. So I think that's important. But we're adding the Love Local Festival this year, and it's going to be on the one day on the Saturday, and booths are. It's going to be outdoors. So again, if you're feeling, COVID, for instance, we're always trying to find that balance, what feels safe. So it'll be outdoors. It'll be a table set up where there'll be different companies selling their wares. There'll also be some not-for-profits. But our criteria on this one, done this, support of the town and other sponsors, is, they're Newmarket businesses. And we really want to make sure that, one thing we've learned through COVID is how important it is we have each other's backs. And so we want to create this opportunity. It's a bit more, it's a bit cheaper because it's the one day and it's outdoors than say the indoors. But we really want to have a great crowd out supporting local businesses here. And that may be either selling clothing or a product or food, different things. But we're going to make this a really fun event because we believe, and I think many of you would agree, that there's just such a desire to support local business, and we need to, as a chamber, create these opportunities. So we're super excited about this. And again, if you can participate in the home show or the Love Local Festival, please sign up. Those spots are filling very quickly.
I'll just add, Chris, that we are going to have kids activities and family activities, that kind of thing as well. So make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah, we're going to make it, again, great for the whole family as has been done historically. And so it's going to be just a fun night. There'll be entertainment we'll have the stage trailer out from the town and some music, etc. So it'll be a fun day. So next slide. The members barbecue is back. Date is to be confirmed, but it will be in June. I know this was a favorite of many chamber members, and we're going to have that free barbecue again. That's just one of our opportunities to express gratitude to all the members that have been with us and support us and come out to all the events and see the value in networking and connecting. So stay tuned on this, but we're really excited to be bringing the barbecue back after a bit of a hiatus with COVID. So stay tuned, but exciting to have that back again. I think you see this trend as I talk. It's we're starting to find this sense of normalcy again, and we do recognize that there are still some people that have some concerns and whatnot. So we're always going to find a way to balance things out of the chamber with also virtual, and I'm going to talk a bit about that as we move forward as well. But we want to make sure we're capturing the widest number of opportunities for chamber members to connect and collaborate. So moving on that note, we're joined here by Naki from Blank Canvas Getaways, and this is just a shout out to know that chamber travel is back. We're going to be sending out a survey either today or tomorrow at the latest to either past attendees for the various travel destinations. But what we're doing is, again, recognizing that there's different levels of comfort on either where to travel or when to travel, everything from ranging from this fall to into next year. The idea, we're going to send out a survey and we'll make sure that everyone has access to a link as well. We're going to try to gauge that level of comfort so that when Naki puts together what I know is a very popular and in-demand trip, from past experiences, we'll be able to make sure we have something that people feel safe and they're looking forward to doing. But I know there's been many questions about this, and so I know Naki's excited to get planning lists too, and so we're very excited about that. And so stay tuned. We'll make sure we share the link for the survey as well on our social channels, whatnot. So if you want to weigh in on level of comfort on where you want to go geography-wise or timing, what your level of comfort is, we're going to make sure we design the best possible experience for those that want to join. Next slide. Some of you may have heard of Accelerator Market, and this has been a wonderful partnership that the Chamber has worked with Tree Frog Accelerator and York Schulich mini MBA program. And we just wrapped up actually the first year. 100 businesses, individuals went through this program. These are startups. These are generally more tech focused, but they don't have to be tech. But the companies that we've got a product, an app, a website, a service, and in the infancy. And it's a free program, and individuals will go through first the Tree Frog Accelerator, which is where they learn from, they get connected with mentors, they learn how to go to market strategies, connect them with venture capitalists. One stat I love to share, in our first year, the 100 businesses that went through it, they're already recipients of over $10 million in funding and support. So you might have a business that applies, could apply to this. Get you you can send me an email, and we'll make sure we get you included on the consideration for this group. But what's most exciting is we just got approved for a second year of funding for this initiative, and for double the number of participants. So 200 businesses will be going through this program over the next year through 4 cohorts. 50% of the people get a free mini MBA from York Schulich. So this is an amazing program. It's fully funded by the province of Ontario. And we're just so excited to see this happening again. the businesses that we're attracting are creating jobs. They're growing, they're expanding, and this is just exciting that the province approved it for round 2. My last slide, and then I'm going to talk a bit about advocacy, is our Bike to Work Day is coming back. So May 20th, more to come on this, but for, many of you may know the Chamber, we have an organization that, we really drive at Smart Commute Central York, and it's the world has changed so much, and we really do what we can to, encourage either carpooling with employers or commuting via bike or walking to work or different areas. And so while a lot of people have shifted to remote work, there's still some that are going to the office. And we want to do our part to really, better the environment, to reduce gridlock, et cetera, transit, use transit. So one of the things we do is we have a Bike to Work Day. And there's going to be a central event at Riverwalk Commons, as we've had in the past, but we're also going to decentralize it a bit, recognizing that, some it might not make sense for them to come to Riverwalk Commons if they say work at the other side of town or maybe in a neighboring community. So we're going to find some ways to incentivize employers that host, say an event at their workplace. The town of Newmarket, for instance, might have a bit of a welcome event for those people that ride their bike to work, or South Lake. So we're excited about this. So in close, and we can take the slide down now, I want to talk a bit about also our advocacy and what we're going to do there. We know, we've heard from many of you that some of the challenges you're facing as you emerge from the pandemic around labor market, and we're going to really focus on some of those things. We're reinventing what was previously the Biz Thrives event, and it'll be this fall, but we're really going to focus on those areas that we think that there's a real need for in the business community. Labor market's a real challenge, and while we know that unemployment rates are quite low, there's still a very high job vacancy rate in York region, and so there's just been a fundamental shift in the labor market. And so we're going to work to support our businesses on that. As well, many of you are still wrestling with supply chain issues, whether you're sending product out or you're waiting to receive product. That's going to be an issue that we continue to work on. And I know we've got an advocacy committee that's working really hard on that. So those are the things we're going to work on. And Tony Van Bynen's here, and we've had a great relationship with our member of parliament, our member of provincial parliament. Sorry, the train's going by in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. We want to make sure that we're continuing to bring forward members' voices to our local elected officials, federal, provincial, municipal, on things that we can do to support. And it's wonderful to know that we've always got their ear on those things. And as well, one thing I want to share is that many of you are parts of groups like EIMs or different networking groups, and you're eager to come back into the chamber office and use the boardroom. And so we're excited to say that starting in May, that's going to happen. We're still going to limit, how many people in the boardroom to ensure that we've got, appropriate spacing for distancing. But those, committees, they can evaluate whether they want to come in. I'm happy to report that we've got a fantastic solution that will accommodate hybrid meetings. So we have some in person, some virtually, as level of comfort grows. So I've talked at you for probably a bit too long, but it's really just to say that there's a lot happening. And always appreciate you as members and your contribution to events like this. We also have had to pivot during COVID, and I think the staff's done an exemplary job on doing that. And we're also excited to see things evolving and getting back to normal. So maybe I'll take, if there's time, I'll take maybe a couple questions, and then I know everyone's looking forward to the breakout session. So are there any questions from anyone? Or do I talk too much? There's nothing to ask.
I don't have a question, Chris, but I think one thing that I'll add to your presentation is we're not currently looking, the call for applications for directors on the board of directors has not been sent out As of yet, it usually comes out in the early summer, late spring, but it's never too early in my mind to start thinking about whether or not you or someone you know who is a member wants to put their name forward as a volunteer to apply for the board of directors. I've sat on the board of directors since 2016. And next year will be my last year on the board, and it's been a fantastic time to get to know so many members, the other people who are on the board, such great people that are members of our chamber. So if you have the ability to give some time to volunteer, put your name forward and go through the process. Or like I said, if you know someone who may be interested in it as well, pass that information along, get them to watch out for when the application goes out. I know that an email blast goes out about it, but never too early to start thinking about it. And with that, there was another board member who snuck in here that I didn't see when I was welcoming everyone, Wasim Jara from Concierge Real Estate by Wasim. Thanks for joining us this morning as well. So I just wanted to add that to your presentation, Chris, because like I said, it's never too early to start thinking about that.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump into the networking. I'll let Tyler explain the rules, and he's got some questions too to prompt us too.
Excellent. I'm just going to hit stop record here.